Welcome to Decodiva, where timeless decorating ideas meet the charm of beautifully lived-in spaces. Today, we are stepping into the enchanting world of vintage storybook cottage decor, exploring how whimsical details, nostalgic treasures, and romantic touches can create interiors that feel both playful and wonderfully refined. If you love vintage homes filled with character, stay with us for inspiration you can bring into your own space. And before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to Storybook Cottage Style is more than simply filling a room with antiques and pretty accessories. Its magic comes from creating a sense of discovery, where every shelf, fabric, color, and decorative object feels as though it has a little story of its own. The secret is knowing how to balance those charming details so the room feels collected rather than cluttered. From graceful floral patterns and painted furniture to old-fashioned books, botanical prints, and delicate ceramics, we will explore the elements that make this decorating style so memorable. Together, we will discover how whimsical cottage character can coexist with thoughtful composition, elegant proportions, and a distinctly polished atmosphere. The foundation of a storybook cottage interior should feel warm, timeless, and slightly nostalgic. Rather than relying on an abundance of decorative objects immediately, begin with classic furniture shapes, graceful architectural details, and materials that naturally develop character over time. Painted wood, aged finishes, traditional cabinetry, and softly worn surfaces provide the perfect canvas for whimsical touches. Color can establish much of the atmosphere. Consider muted sage, dusty blue, faded rose, warm cream, soft butter yellow, and gentle mushroom tones. These shades have a romantic quality without becoming overwhelming, especially when they are layered through walls, upholstery, curtains, rugs, and smaller decorative accents. The goal is to make the room feel as though it belongs to another chapter of a beloved illustrated novel, while still being comfortable and sophisticated enough for modern living. Keeping the foundational palette restrained allows more playful elements to stand out without competing for attention. Floral patterns are almost inseparable from the storybook cottage aesthetic, but their beauty depends on thoughtful layering. Instead of covering every surface in competing prints, choose one or two patterns to establish the mood, then introduce smaller complementary motifs throughout the room. This creates visual rhythm while preserving a sense of calm. Vintage-inspired florals work especially well when they appear in curtains, cushions, upholstered chairs, wallpaper, or delicate table linens. Small botanical motifs can then echo those larger patterns through artwork, ceramics, or decorative textiles. Repetition creates cohesion, making even an eclectic collection feel deliberately arranged. For a more refined result, vary the scale of the patterns. A larger floral design can become the statement element, while smaller vines, scattered blossoms, or subtle botanical prints provide supporting details. This approach keeps the room whimsical without allowing the patterns to become visually chaotic. Furniture plays an important role in giving a cottage interior its sense of history. Look for pieces with curved silhouettes, turned legs, carved details, paneled doors, or beautifully aged finishes. A simple vintage cabinet can become an architectural focal point, while a petite writing desk or painted side table can add an unmistakable storybook quality. The most successful spaces often combine furniture from different periods rather than matching every piece. An antique-inspired cabinet can sit comfortably beside a simple upholstered chair, while a rustic wooden table can be softened with delicate textiles and elegant accessories. The contrast makes the room feel collected over time. Refinement comes from proportion and placement. Even wonderfully eccentric furniture needs breathing room around it. Giving each significant piece enough space to be appreciated prevents the room from feeling crowded and allows distinctive silhouettes and decorative details to become part of the visual story. Small collections are where storybook charm truly comes alive. Stacks of old books, ceramic vessels, framed botanical illustrations, miniature boxes, candlesticks, clocks, and decorative plates can transform ordinary shelves into scenes filled with personality. The key is to arrange these treasures as intentional compositions rather than simply placing everything that looks charming in one area. Try grouping objects by color, material, or theme. A collection of cream ceramics can look elegant against a painted cabinet, while botanical prints can create a cohesive gallery above a writing desk. Vintage books can also add height and texture when stacked beneath smaller decorative pieces. Leave small pockets of empty space between groups. These pauses allow individual treasures to stand out and give the eye somewhere to rest. This simple technique makes an abundant collection feel curated and sophisticated, proving that whimsical decorating does not require visual excess. Storybook cottage interiors become especially enchanting when architectural details reinforce the sense of age and character. Arched doorways, paneled walls, traditional moldings, built-in shelves, beadboard, vintage-style cabinetry, and decorative trim can make even a newer room feel connected to a timeless cottage tradition. Botanical elements add another layer of natural romance. Pressed leaves, framed floral studies, botanical artwork, dried arrangements, and garden-inspired ceramics can bring the feeling of an old countryside retreat indoors. These details work beautifully because they connect the interior to the imagined garden beyond it. The most refined approach is to let these elements complement one another. Architectural details provide structure, while botanical motifs provide softness and movement. Together, they create an interior that feels charming and poetic without losing its sense of order. The difference between charming and chaotic often comes down to restraint. A storybook cottage can certainly include unexpected colors, quirky antiques, playful artwork, and unusual decorative pieces, but each statement element becomes stronger when surrounded by quieter supporting details. Think of the room as a carefully composed illustration. There should be focal points that immediately capture attention, secondary details that reward closer inspection, and calm areas that connect everything together. This hierarchy creates a sophisticated sense of movement throughout the space. Most importantly, allow the room to feel personal rather than overly perfected. Vintage charm comes from imperfection, patina, and the suggestion that objects have been gathered and loved over time. When those qualities are balanced with thoughtful editing, the result feels wonderfully authentic, romantic, and refined. Vintage Storybook Cottage Decor proves that whimsical interiors can still possess remarkable elegance. By combining timeless furniture, gentle colors, floral patterns, vintage treasures, botanical references, and carefully arranged collections, you can create a home that feels imaginative without becoming overwhelming. The secret is not having more decoration, but choosing meaningful details and giving each one room to shine. Let your interior tell a story through aged finishes, graceful patterns, treasured objects, and unexpected little discoveries. When charm is balanced with proportion and restraint, even the most playful cottage-inspired space can feel beautifully sophisticated. Thank you so much for spending this time with Decodiva. If you enjoyed these vintage storybook cottage decor ideas, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave a comment sharing which decorating detail inspired you most. Until next time, keep creating a home filled with character, charm, and timeless beauty.